Welcome back to 55. Look at that. He put that on while I was gone. Got a little ribbing to it. It's very, very shiny. Gonna suck in the sun. Look at that. So, that's a pretty good start. I see a core support sitting here. I see a radiator sitting here. I got this odd suspicion that that's what he wants to work on. However, I also know the plow truck needs a little work. So this may be a short video, it may not. Hey, another example of why it's nice to have another car. He's going to start looking for some angle iron. I need to kind of get a feel for what's going to square us up. So, if I come from the firewall, you can see I'm about 31 1/4 to the middle of this bolt right here. Which, you know, the bolt that you can't see because I don't have the light turned that way. But now you can see it. So, the outside bolt roughly to the center from the firewall straight back, not necessarily to that bolt. That should be right around 31 1/4. Let's verify that the other side is the same. Like I said, it'd be better if it was a 55, but at least having a 57 handy sure is handy. Remember, hot battery right there. Let's be careful. So coming off that point, yeah, so we're in that same ballpark. Alright, and then looking at this, yeah, it does have a little bit of rake to it. It is not perfectly vertical. So that's important to note. Is how we're solving this for now. This puts us within a 1/16 of an inch of where we need to be, but we want to make sure that we're not trying to work in an area that we can't have. You know, I do recall it's pretty snug in here. Okay, we're trying to remember how all this goes together. We're starting to remember some screw holes, and we've got screws in the top here, so it takes a minute. It's been a little while. And just like every other thing in the world, just looking for some freaking hardware. We got it somewhere. These little weird 1024 button heads. We're missing 3 of them, so we'll find them. We have it together. He's going to order the correct button heads for these 3 locations. But now we're going to put it on there and see. We had marked that line and done that before to make sure we were going to clear. I don't know that we went as far as actually tilting it correctly. So let's find out. That's why unfortunately, I don't have the idler right now. It's out being polished and the actual pulley's out being polished. So we just chucked a different pulley on there just to hold the belt. And we're going to take a look. Well, that's a bummer. If it really is this 31 1/4 to here, we're going to have some issues. So we may be monkeying with the fans a little bit. So is what it is. We were worried about it. You know, right here, knowing how much this belt moves, yeah, that's going to just destroy itself. And where we're mounted now, it's not correct. When we go back to where we belong, which was our 32 1/8, from this point, we actually just went and measured them off the actual fenders. 55 fender and 57 fender, definitely not exactly the same reference points. We didn't know that, but we do now. When we have these on here, this bar is about a piece of paper away from this bolt. So, that's not going to work out. Obviously, it doesn't mean anything for those being on the inside. You know, so then you're talking pushers. So now, neither of us like the idea of the clearance being that tight. So, we're going to pop this off, put the fans back on, and then try to get it back to the factory location so that we can start making a plan on what we're going to do about it. Okay, we have that back on. We're not kidding. That is very, very tight. Also, obviously the belt wouldn't even work with the fan there if we had these fans the way they're set up. So this is from the center of this bolt to the center of this bolt is 32 1/8 inches as we measured it off the fender. So You know, and we're talking, you know, give or take a 16th here or there. That is snug. We know we've had this on here in the past, and I'm sure it's in another video. I don't think either of us realized how much rake the radiator core has. See how it's at the same angle as the front of the motor? Because remember, the motor leans down so that U-joints work and oil flow works. So the core support being at the same angle as the engine causes us some trouble. So realistically, probably the best thing we can do is cut this here and bring the whole radiator and fan assembly forward 3 or 4 inches and block it all off. It's not like there's, you know, any problems inside. I mean, there's plenty of room for that. But if we can get, what do we need a minimum? So if we can move, and let's use the face of that. If we can move forward 2 7/8 of an inch, this and this would most likely not touch. If we can go a little more than that, that would be preferable. So what would 3 inches buy us? Yeah, if we can move the back of that fan forward 3 inches, then we would definitely be good. Anything more than that would be gravy. I'm noticing he's making notes. That would mean we could save these fans. If we can't get it moved forward that much, well, then it's some pusher fans. It's not the end of the world. It's just not our favorite option. So also, these are 1777 CFM fans, and we got the pair of them. We'd hate to not use them because these should do the job. So it's always something, but I'm pretty sure when we measured them before, we were straight up and down, which is here. And that is close-ish, but not. And unfortunately, these are fender mounts, and these are for the inners, you know, these holes here. And we need those to line up. So, let me find a light. I lost it. Here it is. So I'm going to grab a light. And we'll go look at the 57 real quick. So you can see on the 57 where those screws come through and then where those are mounted. Well, we were trying to measure from the wall there, but for some reason the distance from that bolt to here isn't quite the same as it is on the actual fender. So luckily we did pull out the real fender and make a measurement from the center of this mounting hole to this, which is the rearmost hole, center to center is 32 1/8 of an inch. So it's one of the things you got to deal with. Everything's custom, everything's a fight. You know, I thought we had done this before, but we could be thinking about the wrong car too. It's possible, it happens. So that's where we're at on this. I don't know that there's anything else to show tonight on this. I think we're going to go work on something else for a little bit. So, thanks for watching. I lied, we're not done. One thing I wanted to point out is with the rake on the core support, if you look, and if you thought about having a mechanical fan on that water pump, of course they tilt the radiator. It's got to be at the same angle as the engine. So you can see right now, when we're at our 32 1/8, we're definitely in plane with the engine. So it makes us feel like, yeah, we're very close to a GM intends. So yeah, there's going to be some cutting and welding ahead. So now, thanks for watching. This has been another Shop Rex approved video. Thanks for watching.